Hey guys, it's Skybird, and I've actually recorded this video a few times. We are going to be taking a look at 3 purchases from AliExpress, all Lego knockoffs. One very cool. The algorithm says I should save it till the end of the video, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show it first, but it's not going to be a full review. Otherwise, this video is literally going to be 25 minutes because it was every other time I recorded it. We're going to start with that one first, and the other 2 things I'm going to show off are both promotional items. In fact, all of these were promotional in some way or another, but I just want to let you know I bought all these. This is not sponsored or anything. So, starting off with this, the big guy, or girl, I can't really tell, but I think it's kind of a feminine style of build, at least in terms of the proportions. Extremely long legs. If you are somebody that has an issue with proportions, non-humanoid proportions in general, you might have an issue with this. The legs are a little egregious, but they do work with the model itself. I'm not going to focus too much on everything in this video. Maybe that'll be saved for a future video, but in terms of articulation, there's a lot. There are 3 different types of articulation: a regular standard bionicle ball joint. There is also the sort of Knight's Kingdom or Exoforce type ratchet joint, including a brand new proprietary piece in here that seems to be compatible, which looks so useful. I cannot wait to mess around with it. That'll be, well, on the Discord, link in the description. And lastly, you will see the most unfortunate connection on this, the most unfortunate form of articulation. The mini ball. This is not a Mixel ball joint. It is too small for that, at least from what I can tell visually. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my eyes are just not seeing it quite the way I think it is, but I'm usually pretty good at telling if something's going to work or not, and those are not going to work. It's also worth noting that the weapon is brick built, so it is quite heavy, especially on those ball joints, and those ball joints are not going to hold it up. The CCBS shells on there are not CCBS shells. They are axles only, no ball socket, no bar connections. Really cool pieces. Nice to have those as an alternative, and they look quite lovely. Can't wait to use those either. But also these pieces, these sort of pauldron waist cover pieces, very interesting. There are 7 of those in the set. They should have stickers on them. I'm not going to put the stickers on them. I want to use them elsewhere. I did not buy this for display purposes, but if you wanted to buy it for display purposes, link in the description for that as well. I got this for $6. I am not complaining about it, but I believe the original price was $17, and I think for $17 you'd still be very happy with this. I think it's over 700 pieces. It's like a 2-hour building experience, give or take, and overall it's pretty good. And I say 2 hours because I'm very familiar with Lego, but this has a lot of exclusive or proprietary pieces in it. However, they're not overly specialized, with the exception of basically the pieces that come in sprues. All of these pieces, though, are blades of some kind or another. These little winglet pieces, and they still all connect via an anti-stud. So they are kind of Lego compatible. I really appreciate that, because a lot of brands, if they go out of their way to make sprues, they just don't bother with Lego compatibility anymore. They make their own proprietary connection. And this brand opted not to do that. That's admirable, at the very least. The only ones that don't connect via an anti-stud are these ones on the back of the leg, and they connect via a bar connection instead. So still Lego compatible from what I can tell. I will have to test those because bars can be a bit finicky, but we'll see. It is also worth noting that all of the gold in this set, with the exception of 4 very minor pieces, are drum lacquered or thereof. So they're all painted gold, very exceptional quality as well. No, issues with running or pooling on any other color. It's very exceptional. It's very high quality. No scratches, no scuffs, no mist paint. Again, mileage may vary because I'm not super familiar with the quality control for the brand. And yeah, that's basically everything I wanted to mention about it. Yes, there's a lot to deal with in terms of articulation. In terms of the fragile points, there are some points on the foot, unfortunately, that are a little fragile. It'll hold its own weight up just fine and probably some extra pressure, but too much forward pressure and the foot can just kind of like break off. It's only connected via 4 studs. It's not great. I would have run an axle through it in some way, even if it meant getting rid of these gold pieces on the side. The head also is decent, but the top of the head only connects via 1 stud. It's not the best option. However, it works, and I haven't run into too many issues with it. Lastly, notably, the wing pieces, all of which are connected via a bar connection on each, but have a half axle on each of them as well. And then the blades on the skirt, what else would I call this, right? On the skirt here are also connected via a bar. You get 8 of the skirt blades in red, 2 of them in white, though they're not pictured here because the Technic pieces in the set are a little weird. I'll get to that before I end this portion of the video. And yeah, those are all supposed to have stickers on them as well. But again, I'm not putting stickers on them. I do want to use them elsewhere. And those are all blade pieces that Lego does not make or have a version of themselves. Those white pieces look so cool too, honestly. There's one thing in the instructions I wanted to point out very quickly, and thankfully it's on like the 4th page. So not the worst thing in the world, but it is this right here. These 2 pieces, there are 4 of them in the set total, 2 of them in the body, 2 in the head. Using them in the head is fine. However, skip them here. They do not work here. Unfortunately, the distance spanning from one side of the red to the other, where there's a stud supposed to connect them all the way across, is not correct. It is a little bit too wide. So if you were to try to put like a 1x4 plate, for example, directly over top of it, it wouldn't work. It's about a 0.5 millimeter or a full millimeter too far apart. Just skipping them does nothing. It does not affect the stability of the set. They're not important pieces. It just takes away from, I guess, the shaping there. And if you have the official Lego sort of round brick, I don't know what else to call it, round slope, no studs or anything on it, in red, if they make it in red, you can just use that there instead. I think they make it in red. I'm pretty sure I have some. Anyway, so yeah, that's basically the only notable thing in the instructions. They're pretty easy to follow. I did miss putting the stickers on at one point. And speaking of stickers, before we move on to the next thing, there are over 50 stickers. That is 50 too many. No, I'm not opposed to stickers. I always like having the option and usually prefer them over prints, except for some situations. Here, I think all the stickers are really exceptional quality. They all look good. Mine came a little crumpled. Could have definitely been better, but could have been worse, honestly. And I had Lego ones come pretty crumpled too. Not going to complain about it, especially given the price. Unstickered, I think the set would still look absolutely great, and completely stickered, I think it would look really good too. All right. Oh, and lastly, before I move on, just wanted to say the color blocking on it is really exceptional. The dark gray in the set does not match any dark gray from Lego. It is what I call very dark gray. I like the color. I wish Lego made it. I've already talked about the color in the past from before this brand. Other knockoffs use it too. Lego does not currently have a very dark gray on the market, and they really should, or at least they should for a couple of years. All right, moving on to the next thing. This one excites me because I don't know why. I'll talk about it. It is this right here, kind of a 2-part. I'm going to start with the wagon here very, very quickly. Everything that you see here matches Lego colors except for this piece here. We'll get to that in a moment. And it's always just good to have. This was 33 cents with the horse. This was a part of a second promotion, which was buy 3 items for $1 with free shipping. Could not pass it up, so I bought a lav mic because, you know, would be nice to have one of those on hand. But the other 2 items I bought were both Lego related, and I wanted to start with this one first. The reason I bought the horse version, there were other animals available, including a cow too, was because I already had a Lego horse to compare it to. First thing, most notably, the colors do not match. This is not a brown that Lego makes at all. It does not match any brown that Lego makes. Maybe I'll test it against older reddish brown, because reddish brown has a lot of variation over the years. But long story short, do I mind that? No, not in this case. I do mind it in the case of the bars here because it's a Lego piece, right? It's a system piece. This is the same color as the horse. But the horse, I don't mind because it's an animal. It represents something organic. They're not always going to match other colors of things out in the world. And in fact, I kind of find it endearing because it gives you a little variation if you have official horses. However, the much more major gripe that I have about this horse, and it's still one that's easy to get over, is the gap. You see the gap there where that brick is supposed to go, or a character is supposed to go? It is way larger. It's about 1.5 times larger than it should be, which means unfortunately you can't fill in that space with a 1x2 brick. If you try to, push something in there, you got these really unsightly gaps. You can maybe do it from some like optical illusion 45-degree angles, but honestly, just take the better advice, get yourself a Lego saddle and put the saddle in there, because the saddle does actually cover up that entire space. It still leaves you a gap, but if you want a character riding it, you put a character in there. If you want to fill that space in with a brick, you can. And then it's just a saddled horse, and that's fine. If you're somebody that wants to build up like an army of horses or whatever, this is a really good option. 33 cents is really hard to beat. Unfortunately, it does not come with a saddle itself, and it does not come with bricks to fill in that space. The cart has excellent friction or non-friction in the wheels. They spin very well and for a very long time. It has 2 barrels in brown, as well as a crate in the back in brown, 2 barrels in light bluish gray, a seat in light bluish gray, as well as a pitchfork and a shovel, both in regular Lego colors, brown and dark gray. And then you've got a medium nougat bread, 2 fish, 1 orange, 1 very light blue or something like that. And then you've got a carrot and a chicken with drumsticks. All of those, at least from what I can tell, match Lego colors perfectly. So it's a good little starter kit if you want to build like a little market or do whatever, right? One of my favorite sets from Lego is from the Ninjago movie. I think it's like City Chase or something like that, just because it has a little market build. It's a little slice of life build, and I love that kind of stuff. And then, before I save the last thing, I've got these two here, and I've got a little surprise. So this one is just cute, This is, if you like the botanical stuff, I'm a big lover of plants. This is always good to have. Comes with some Technic stuff in dark green, always nice to have as well. Very tedious build. If you don't like the sunflower build from Lego, well, then you probably won't like this. But it takes about 5 minutes. It's not awful by any means. And thankfully, they fit together pretty well. Though some of the, what is that called? Sprue marks, the flashing? Yeah, some of the flashing could be a bit better. The butterfly build. This one I'm mixed on. I don't care for the butterfly build itself, but of course the wings are good. They're decent. Anyway, in terms of this coming from China, this did come in a box, but the box was basically non-existent by the time it got here. So the wings are a little damaged. There's some dings and dents in them. You also punch them out of the vinyl sheet itself, and that means you have to punch out the actual holes for the studs. The holes are there, but the plastic's still in there, and it can be a little difficult to remove it, especially because I think it's laminated plastic and not printed. Don't quote me on that. But the reason I say that is because when I tried to pull some of those holes out, it would sort of peel away at the print layer. Not great. That said, though, still fine. And I think it's an exceptional thing if you want wings like this specifically. And thankfully, they had a lot to offer. I chose the butterfly wings because I like them. But you could get moth wings. You can get like bee wings, cicada wings. There's a bunch of other ones too. And they're all like vinyl like this. The build itself felt terrible. A lot of things were really tight on it. Some things were broken. It had 6 of these antenna things. 4 were supposed to be legs, but one of the base pieces was missing, and then one of the antenna pieces was just broken. So very bizarre. This came in a box sealed, and yet one piece was missing. However, with the horse and buggy set, that's not right. Horse and wagon. What do I call that? Cart? Sure. With the horse and cart set, that set did come in a bag that would just had like a little line of adhesive, so very subject to things falling out and getting lost, but thankfully nothing did. It came with exactly enough pieces to build it. The Sluban thing came with extra pieces from what I can tell, unless I missed something, and the flower came with exactly enough pieces to build it as well. All right, so that's basically it for this one. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate you subscribing. It really helps the channel out. And if you like videos like this, a quick-ish synopsis on these sort of not prototype, but knockoff type builds, then yeah, let me know that one down in the comments. And if you find something that you are interested in me reviewing on the channel, then let me know that one down in the comments too, or take your discussion over to Discord. On Discord, we have a knockoff channel specifically, so it's dedicated to stuff like this. I highly recommend checking it out. There are links to a lot of stuff there as well, and links for some of this will be there too. Links will also be in the description for this one, hopefully. And then also, if you want to help to support videos like this, my next purchase is actually a turntable for making videos like this in the future, but doing it better, because I know the face cam is not the best for this kind of stuff. So that's basically it. If you want to support that, Patreon's down in the description, Instagram, Discord, all down in the description, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.